Hello, I'm Talitha Cummins. By nature, pilots are dedicated, highly disciplined and composed professionals. But like other professions, they're not immune to the ravages of substance abuse or dependence. In the past, those diagnosed were without options and any confidence they could return to work. Now, a confidential peer support program based on a highly successful overseas model is available to Australian pilots. HIMS is a collaborative approach involving all stakeholders, helping pilots return to work in a safe and timely manner.
Indonesia 718, behind landing 737, line up behind.
Nobody is better able to judge an individual than someone who kind of walks in their shoes, and pilots are best, understood by other pilots.
The HIMS program is definitely not a punitive or policing action. It's definitely about mates helping mates.
Got a licence, commercial licence, that paid for my flying, also allowed me to keep drinking. When I got the job with a bigger airline, to me that was a reason to drink more, because I now had more time off and more money, so why wouldn't I drink more? Because that seems to be what I told myself made life fun. It was also a way of coping with some of the stresses of the job, which were disruption to lifestyle, disruption to relationships, because I was always away. The life I'm having now, being willingly sober and enjoying a sober life, is the first time in my life where I've ever felt happily single. I've always felt like I needed something outside me to make myself complete. I've been able to create, for the first time in my life, a life of meaning for myself.
Depending on which pilot requires help, we'll match them up with a peer monitor, and that trained peer monitor then helps that pilot through the recovery process and constantly checking in with the pilot, initially even daily.
I was away from home for longer periods in the airline job, and there were significant periods of downtime en route in a hotel. You'd be there for 2 or 3 days sometimes, and there were just opportunities galore. You'd synthesise reasons for doing it. I just need a couple to relax before I go to bed, or because of the time zone shift, you'd always have a reason. You might not think you're a morning drinker, but if you're on the other side of the world, you can plead the time zone thing and manufacture reasons to do things that you might not normally have done. It was during this period that there were frequent, almost daily, times where I'd say, well, I'm not going to do that again tonight, and I would. And I'd wake up the next morning and feel ashamed, and wouldn't want to look at myself in the mirror because I'd failed again to do what I'd set out to do. And this was just a repeating pattern over and over.
This isn't some sort of character or moral issue. This is a disease, and the rates of alcoholism and substance misuse are probably pretty similar in pilots to most other groups.
CASA views HIMS as a great opportunity, both in terms of addressing real issues for pilots, these are safety issues, and also an opportunity in facilitating people return to the workplace with confidence.
My role primarily, I think now, is around assessing, pilots who there are concerns about.
Basically my drinking was fairly out of control, and giving myself permission that I didn't have to conform to the rules of normal drinking or what other people said it was okay to do, because I felt like having a drink and I was going to have one. And once I'd had one, I usually wanted more.
If you find you need to call in sick for that reason a number of times, think about changing behaviour. If you find that with the best of intentions you're unable to change that behaviour, then it's time to give someone a call.
So over the past 12 months I've been peer monitoring a pilot, and I've seen him in his absolute rock bottom. I've seen him enter into the recovery process. I've seen him flourish to the point now where he is back flying again, and that is the aim of the HIMS program. It's about pilots getting them back flying when it's safe to do so.
Although you may have self-awareness in that early phase when the facts are presented to you and your denial is kind of broken down, that fades over time, and that is the real key. You know, many people can get sober that they then relapse, and the beauty of the HIMS program is that it's built around accountability long term through testing and through peer monitoring and other things, which keeps the person engaged with this recovery process, and that's why it's so successful.
I have noticed a very real change in the atmosphere between airlines, the industry, the unions and the regulator just in the last few years since we've been working on HIMS, which has to be the benefit of everybody, and particularly the pilots who are affected.
And as you see them take on recovery and go through rehabilitation, you can see certain changes in their life, which is really rewarding to you to see that their life's back on track.
So it's a lifelong journey, and it's just a beautiful journey. I wouldn't swap it for the world.
Correct, keep the pace.
1 correct, clear for takeoff.